Gotcha. Well, my name is Mike Merucci, DJ Mike, as I'm called by some. I host the Afterglow, which is essentially our ambient music show. Also covers stuff like vaporwave, chillwave, trip hop at times. Basically, it's just the slow music show. Fifth favorite album all time, I would say, is What's Tonight to Eternity by Cindy Lee. I love how it interpolates noise into the soundscape, and I just think it's a very darkly beautiful album in a way that I've never really heard. Honestly, if my favorite album is probably the toughest to categorize. People will always ask me what a certain song or album, what genre it is. I just stumble around trying to throw out random words that maybe describe it. But when it comes to actually placing things in bins, I'm not good at it, and I don't particularly like it either. If I want to find something new in a certain sound, then I will appreciate genres for that. But there's a lot of times where I will seek something, I listen to it, and I think, I don't know if that fits in that genre or if it even owns a certain kind of genre. So I think it can be a little reductive, but I can appreciate the arrows that genres provide. So I guess I don't really hate genres, but What's Tonight to Eternity is just a specific space in my mind that I can never get it out. So that's why I love it. Album number 4 is DJ Screw with 3 in the Morning Part 2. It's the perfect hanging out album for me, even if I'm just hanging out by myself. Like if I'm sitting in my backyard, let's say in summer, it's a great summer album. It's so good to drive to as well. I say that's 3 in the Morning Part 2. It's a nice chill summer, windows down driving album. So it comes from Houston. And I do love Dirty South rap. I love Houston rap. In Houston, they have a whole day dedicated to DJ Screw. I believe it's June 27th, because he has a 30-minute track called June 27th, where just a bunch of Houston rappers are rapping over this one beat that he made. His image is one of sort of just uniting the entirety of Houston, their rap scene. Because I think in New York and LA and sometimes Chicago, Atlanta, there was often a little bit more beef. Not that there wouldn't be any beef in Houston, but kind of DJ Screw collecting everybody kind of seemed like there was a little bit more camaraderie to Houston rap. And so DJ Screw is an image of just slowing everything down, relaxing. So I appreciate him for that. Album number 3, Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen. I've been a Carly Rae Jepsen fan since sophomore year of high school, I believe. Finally came to the light after years of declaring that classic rock was the only good music. And after I broke down all my barriers, I was like, oh, it's Carly Rae Jepsen time, finally. And I think it freed me a little bit. Kind of similar in the way the album Benito Generation by Caro Benito did. I think that they're both albums that made me realize it's time to have a little bit more fun here in your ears. It's very rare for me to know all the words to a song. I'm terrible at memorizing lyrics, but there's a couple Carly songs that I know all the words to. Incredibly rare. Boy Problems by Carly Rae Jepsen. It's a lyrical masterpiece, in my opinion. It's also something that just speaks to the inner core. And when it's more than 60 degrees out, there is nothing I would rather go to than Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen. I have it on CD. I have a poster of her on my wall. I have a shirt. I love her dearly. I also really love Jessie Ware, though she's not too much in the main pop sphere. She's disco pop. I love her. I love her so much. She's so good. But Carly, to me, some people say she's target music, and I see it, but I think that she just has such a fun discography. It's so much fun for me to listen to, especially in the car. Like I said, I love a good driving album. I don't know, she just has a certain air to her that makes me like her more than Taylor or Lana. I agree that she's a bit of a sleeper. I remember that Taylor Swift initially was not going to release Midnights on this certain day because I remember that was the release of the new Carly Rae Jepsen album, The Loneliest Time, and then Taylor switched it, and I, for one, was a little upset. I thought that she was going to take away a little bit from Carly's spotlight here, and that might have happened a little bit. And so Taylor fans and Carly fans, which there aren't too many on the internet, there aren't many Carly stans, but they started fighting. In person, I stand up for Carly like that. If somebody slanders Carly Rae Jepsen in front of me, I'm going to pull out, the verbal blade, but I'm not going to go onto the internet and start harassing people over Carly Rae Jepsen versus Taylor Swift. It's just not worth my time. So I think if you need something to stand up for, I think there's nothing wrong with going to the pop wars. I think that people who want to know every single fact about their favorite artist's life, I think that's a little bit much. I think there's a certain unhealthy border when it comes to knowing somebody completely removed from your life. As much as I love Carly Rae Jepsen, I don't want to know everything about her. I don't want to know what she's doing all the time. Like, there's a line. Album number 2 is on my hoodie right now. It's Steroids, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Gabber Megamix by Death Grips. Just 23-minute song, technically, but I consider it just a full work, and it's probably my favorite thing they've ever made, and they're my favorite band, so it's hard not to move while listening to that song. It's very danceable, very loud, very in my face. There's a lot of screaming in it. It's just such a creative song to me. The thing is, I love long songs. I just love long songs. One of my favorite songs of all time, Bring the Sun, Tucson Louverture by Swans. It's like 32, 34 minutes, somewhere around there. I love that song. And Dope Smoker by Sleep, an hour long. I love that song. And so this song, it's amazing. I think it's my favorite long song because it just has so many different stages where you could call them individual tracks, but it all fits together perfectly to where, maybe this is one song, or maybe it's just mixing a few different tracks, but the last 5 minutes is pretty much my favorite thing I've ever heard. And every time it comes up in just my liked songs, if I'm listening to my liked songs and it randomly comes on, I'm not going to skip it. I'm going to listen to the whole thing. I wouldn't say that I'm a true critic. I definitely write a lot about music. I mean, it is my job, I guess, as entertainment editor to curate our written content and to write stuff sometimes, but I'm not a musician. I don't make music, so I don't think it's exactly fair. I'm certainly allowed to have an opinion, but to truly dump on something when I don't understand the process of it fully, I don't think I can do that. So putting out a very public opinion, I don't really like dumping on things. I like praising, but yeah. So my favorite album of all time is Mirages by Tim Hecker. Mirages is an ambient album, and it's very staticky, incredibly staticky. It's almost noise. It's just a very specific soundscape that I am in love with. It's perfect for walking around at night, and I think the album cover kind of lends to the soundscape in that way because the album cover is pretty much just a nightscape with some greenish lights. I feel like no matter what season, no matter what mood, for some reason, I can always listen to Mirages, even though it's an ambient album. I'd say especially in 2020, I listened to that album nonstop, just nonstop. And Tim Hecker is my favorite ambient artist. I love his work. A lot of people do, so I don't think it's a real hot take to say it's my favorite ambient artist, but I'd say that Mirages is one of his slept-on works, and I think it's just a very artificial but very human mix, and so I think it's a lovely tying together of kind of things that I dream about. It's hard to justify noise to other people, but I think for bringing out a certain kind of emotion through ambient music being such a gentle and at times static genre, I think that when you bring something like noise into the fold, it makes it more than just ambient. You can't really ignore it and let it sit in the background. I suppose Brian Eno said that it has to be as ignorable as it is interesting, and I suppose that is how Mirages is with its use of noise, because there are some tracks on it that are much noisier than others, but it's a very muted noise where it's, I won't say anger, but a certain edge to ambient that I think it often lacks. I think that's why I appreciate noise, especially in mirages.